All right, so are you ready to like dive deep into a life story that's like pure entertainment dynamite? We're talking about Cher's memoir.
And what's really cool about this deep dive is we're aiming to give you just enough to, like, spark your curiosity
Oh, yeah.
without spoiling all the juicy details. Think of it as, like, a sneak peek into a blockbuster movie, just enough to get you excited to, like, buy a ticket.
Exactly. It's like we all know Cher, right?
Yeah.
Like the icon, the voice, the hair.
Right.
But her memoir, it's like it peels back the layers and reveals the woman behind the legend.
Right.
And let me tell you, it's a journey you just won't believe.
Yeah.
We're talking about a life that spans from like a humble childhood in 50s LA all the way to the peak of her career in the late 70s.
And it's not your typical rags to riches story.
No.
Cher's life is full of these, like, unexpected twists and turns, from multiple marriages, career roller coasters, to some encounters that'll make you do a double take. Like,
Oh, yeah.
was she really at a dinner party with Salvador Dali?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, she was.
Yeah. Okay, so let's rewind to the beginning. Cher, or should I say Sherilyn Sarkeesian,
Right.
didn't exactly have a silver spoon childhood. I mean, she grew up in Los Angeles,
Right.
but her family went through periods of real hardship,
Oh, yeah.
even spending time in an orphanage.
It's fascinating to think about, those early experiences, especially knowing, like, the powerhouse she'd become.
Yeah.
It's clear that even then she had this drive, this fascination with the world of entertainment.
Right.
But we're not talking red carpets and, like, fancy premieres.
Right.
Think, like, 5-cent movies and sneaking into the Pan Pacific Auditorium just to catch a glimpse of Elvis.
That's such a vivid image, right?
Yeah, yeah.
It's like this little girl captivated by the magic of show business, even from a distance.
Totally.
And it makes you wonder, how did those early glimpses of glamour
Yeah.
mixed with the reality of her own circumstances, like how did that shape her ambitions?
Absolutely. And, we can't forget the influence of her family. Her parents had a pretty complicated relationship, which definitely left its mark. And her grandmother, while a strong presence in her life, had some pretty, let's say, interesting views on the world, especially when it came to men and relationships.
Oh, yeah, like the belief that beautiful women were destined to marry rich husbands.
Exactly.
Like, wow, talk about setting the bar high.
Right. It really makes you think about how the messages we absorb from our families, whether we agree with them or not,
Yeah.
how they can influence our own paths.
Totally. But here's something that really caught my attention. Cher recounts this really vivid childhood memory
Okay.
where she believes she saw the face of Jesus
Whoa.
in her curtains.
Wow.
Talk about a formative experience.
It's one of those details that offers a peek into her inner world,
Yeah.
her spirituality,
Yeah.
and how those early impressions might have, like, stayed with her throughout her life.
It's definitely food for thought.
Hmm.
And, this memoir is full of those kinds of moments, these glimpses into Cher's thoughts and feelings that make you see her not just as a superstar,
Yeah.
but as like a complex, relatable human being.
Right. And speaking of relatable, who hasn't had a truly disastrous haircut experience?
Oh my gosh, yes.
Well, Cher shares this hilarious story about getting a perm gone wrong as a kid,
Oh no.
ending up with what she calls an octopus on her head.
Oh, I can only imagine.
It's those little details that remind you that even icons have those, universal,
Yeah.
cringeworthy moments we can all laugh about.
We've all been there.
But those lighthearted anecdotes are just one side of the story. As she enters her teenage years, things start to take a bit of a turn.
Okay.
We see this rebellious streak emerge, running away, getting expelled from Catholic school.
Classic teenage rebellion.
Yeah. But in Cher's case, it's all happening against the backdrop of Hollywood's underbelly. And this is where a certain Sonny Bono enters the picture.
Ooh.
Now, this wasn't some, like, whirlwind, love-at-first-sight romance. They were both working with Phil Spector. And their connection was more of, like, a slow burn.
That's so interesting. Imagine being in that legendary studio, surrounded by musical giants, and this partnership is forming.
Right.
That would change both of their lives forever.
Exactly.
But the memoir doesn't shy away from, like, the shadows that started to creep in.
No, not at all.
There's a mention of a physical altercation early on, hinting at the power dynamics and control issues that would, become more prominent later.
Right, and that's what makes this deep dive so compelling. We're getting these hints of these darker undercurrents, the complexities of their relationship that eventually led to their, like, explosive split.
Right.
But we're not going to spoil how it all unfolds.
Yeah.
That's for you to discover when you read the book.
You've got to read it.
You've got to read it. And that's what I find so captivating about this memoir. It doesn't shy away from
No, it doesn't.
the messy, complicated parts.
Yeah.
Honestly, what fun would a behind-the-scenes look at Cher's life be without a little drama?
Oh, totally. But speaking of drama, we can't gloss over the Sonny and Cher era.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, come on. I Got You, Babe. That song is like an anthem.
Oh, yeah.
It launched them into superstardom. But here's a little tidbit that, like, blew my mind.
Okay.
Cher initially hated the song.
Oh, are you serious?
Can you imagine?
Talk about not knowing a hit when you hear it.
I know.
It really makes you appreciate, Sonny's vision and his ability to, see the potential in something that even Cher, the one singing it, dismissed.
It's like sometimes you need someone else to believe in your crazy idea, even when you doubt yourself.
Oh, absolutely.
But that success, it came with a price. The memoir paints a picture of, grueling schedules, mounting pressure, and Sonny's controlling nature becoming more and more apparent.
Right. It wasn't all sunshine and roses.
No.
It's during this period that we see a real shift in Cher.
Yeah.
She's no longer just the talented girl next door singing alongside her partner. She's evolving, becoming more aware of her own needs and desires.
I see.
There's this passage where she describes going on a massive spending spree, buying tons of clothes as a way to, release frustration with Sonny.
Okay, I can totally relate to that.
Yeah.
Maybe not on the same scale, but
Right.
who hasn't indulged in a little retail therapy when life gets overwhelming?
Exactly.
It's like, take that world. I'm buying this fabulous new whatever it is, and you can't stop me.
It's that kind of raw honesty that makes this memoir so compelling.
Yes.
It's not just this highlight reel of successes. It's
Right.
like a real unfiltered look at the struggles, the compromises, the inner battles that came with fame. And speaking of battles, the relationship with Sonny eventually implodes, culminating in this very public and messy divorce.
Right. It's one of those moments that captured the world's attention, right?
Yeah.
This seemingly golden couple breaking apart amidst accusations and financial disputes.
Oh, totally.
And for Cher, it's not just the end of a romantic partnership. It's also a professional upheaval.
Yeah.
She's suddenly a single mom facing the daunting task of rebuilding her career on her own terms.
It's a testament to her resilience and her determination. She could have easily faded into the background,
For sure.
but instead she doubles down,
Right.
releasing solo albums, diving into television, even dabbling in acting.
Oh, wow.
But the memoir hints at this lingering sense of dissatisfaction.
Okay.
She's achieving success, but it's not quite the fulfillment she's craving.
It's like she's on this constant quest for creative expression, pushing boundaries, refusing to be pigeonholed.
Exactly.
And while she's navigating all of this, she's also rubbing shoulders with some seriously fascinating characters.
Oh, for sure.
Can you imagine having dinner with Salvador Dali?
That's one of those pinch me moments in the book, right?
Oh, yeah.
And it's not just a casual dinner.
Yep.
Dolly gifts her this remote-controlled painted rubber fish.
Wait, what?
A remote-controlled rubber fish.
A remote-controlled rubber fish. Only Dolly, right? It's like, how do you even process that kind of encounter? It must have been surreal.
It gives you a sense of the whirlwind that she was living in, the extraordinary people she crossed paths with.
Yeah.
But amidst all the extravagance and celebrity encounters, she also finds these moments of simple joy.
Ah, I love that.
There's this passage where she describes going grocery shopping alone for the first time after the divorce.
Okay.
And how it felt like this incredible rediscovery of freedom and normalcy.
That really resonated with me. It's a reminder that even with all the glitz and glamour, those small everyday moments can hold so much meaning.
Oh, yeah.
And let's not forget, the personal side of the story. Cher's not just a superstar. She's a mother, navigating the challenges of raising two children in the spotlight.
Absolutely. And she doesn't sugarcoat the difficulties. She opens up about her son, Chaz, being diagnosed with dyslexia and the emotional toll it took on her.
Yeah.
And what's even more striking is her own realization that she likely also has dyslexia.
Wow, that's really powerful.
It makes you wonder how that late diagnosis impacted her,
Right.
How she reflected on her own experiences in a new light.
It makes you think.
And for anyone who's struggled with learning differences or felt like they didn't quite fit in, that part of the memoir is incredibly powerful.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But we've only scratched the surface here.
Oh, yeah.
The memoir, it delves deeper into those relationships with David Geffen and Greg Ullman.
Oh,
which,
no.
let's just say, we're far from smooth sailing.
It's a whirlwind of emotions, heartbreak, and self-discovery.
Wow.
And that's just one thread in the tapestry of her life. There's
Oh.
so much more to unpack. The behind-the-scenes stories of her career triumphs and setbacks, her evolution as an artist and a woman, and like the unwavering spirit that kept her going through it all.
Wow. It's like amazing to think about all the ground we've covered.
I don't know, right?
We've gone from Sherilyn Sarkeesian, that little girl sneaking into Elvis shows, to Cher, this global superstar, like navigating the ups and downs of fame, motherhood, and everything in between.
And you know what like really sticks with me? The honesty in her voice. This isn't just some like polished, retelling of her greatest hits.
Right.
It's raw, it's vulnerable, it's full of these little moments that remind you she's just as human as the rest of us.
It's true. We see her on stage, in movies, larger than life.
Hmm.
But this memoir, it's like it brings her down to earth.
Yeah.
It lets us into her world, her struggles, her triumphs, even her doubts.
And in doing so, it makes her story like all the more relatable, you know? It's
Yeah.
this reminder that behind the dazzling costumes and those like powerhouse vocals,
Yeah.
there's a real person with this complex, fascinating journey.
Absolutely. And we've only given you a taste, just a little sampler platter of what this memoir offers. We've touched on the big moments, the heartaches, the wild encounters,
Right.
but there's so much more to uncover.
Oh, yeah. There's a whole world of details waiting to be discovered. The full story of her relationships, the behind the scenes drama of her career, like the evolving dynamics with her children,
Right.
and like the sheer force of will that propelled her forward through every challenge.
And that's what we were aiming for with this deep dive, right? To
Yep.
pique your curiosity, to give you just a little glimpse into the magic of this book without spoiling the full experience.
Because at the end of the day, the best way to truly appreciate Cher's story is to like hear it directly from her in her own words.
So if you're intrigued by what you've heard today, if you're like feeling that pull to know more,
Yeah.
then I highly recommend, checking out her memoir. It's a wild ride, a roller coaster of emotions, and a testament to a woman who defied every expectation to become the legend she is today.
And as you read, I'd challenge you to like think about how Cher's unconventional upbringing, those early years of instability and hardship, shaped her, like fierce independence and her unwavering refusal to conform.
That's a good one.
Like how did those experiences mold her into the icon we know and love?
That is such a great question to ponder. It's like she's always been her own person, marching to the beat of her own drum. And I think her story offers some powerful insights into the forces that shaped her unique path.
Absolutely. So there you have it, a little sneak peek into the world of Cher, as told by the woman herself.
Now go forth, dear listener, and discover the full brilliance of her story.